Welcome back. You are tuned in to Traders Nation. My pleasure to have with us here today book author Michael Blastland, co-author of The Numbers Game. Michael, welcome to Traders Nation. How are you today?
Thanks, I'm very well. Great to be on the show.
Oh, good. Listen, we're assaulted by numbers, whether it's the latest political poll, the most recent clinical study on caffeine, which I enjoy, by the way. So tell us, what do these numbers really mean, Michael?
Not all of them mean what they seem to mean, I can tell you that for sure, but that doesn't ruin them. I mean, the important thing here is that just because they're not perfect doesn't mean that they tell you nothing.
Right.
There are just a few questions I think that we could usefully ask to try and get a bit more of the truth out of them.
Right. Now, here's a good example of that. Recently, as you know, in America, we had our political process take fold. We had polls coming out of every angle that you can even think of, and some of them obviously were skewed. So I can't help but ask, do we trust these polls, or can we?
It depends how big they are, and a lot of them I know. I mean, the United States is a big country, and if you don't sample enough people, you're going to get risks of getting a really skewed result. So the key thing is, how many people did they ask?
Right.
If they ask 1,000 people across the United States, you could pick a few of those areas where you get very strong leanings one way or the other, and it's going to give you a really hopeless result. So opinion polls, we say plus or minus 3% in this country,
sure.
And I don't think that's enough. They can be spectacularly wrong for all kinds of reasons. Take them with a pinch of salt, unless you get poll after poll all across the country telling you pretty much the same thing.
Right.
Be prepared to be surprised.
Yeah, you took the next question right out of my mouth, and is that what we have to refer to, is the multiple of polls, throw them into an average and come out with some data that we can actually trust?
Yeah, I think that's probably a wise place to start. Just start putting them together and seeing if they're telling you the same thing. If they're all over the place, then I wouldn't trust any one of them.
Yeah.
If they're all in the same direction and they're all going the same direction by a long way, maybe they'll be getting a bit more reliable that way, and particularly if they're a decent size.
Sure, and you touched on one of the key words is, can you trust the people actually doing the polls? And one of the things, of course, is what's their agenda?
Yeah, and if you've got an agenda, then it's very easy to make it work out for you. You can be careful about where you ask your questions. You can say, well, I just went out on the streets, but you went out at a certain time of day when you know that it's only the moms who are around, because a lot of or maybe the non-workers who are around, or
sure.
You hang around outside the university where there are a lot of students. I mean, if you've got an agenda, it's very easy to corrupt these things. You hope that people have got more integrity than that, and I think on the whole, pollsters have. It's not because they're crooked that they get unreliable results. It's just because it's a pretty difficult thing to do.
Yeah, all right. Now, during your investigation, there must be one poll, one that's fascinating, that the data may have surprised you. Is there one?
Sorry, is there one opinion poll?
Yeah, any of these polls. I mean, you've done a lot of research. You and your co-author Andrew.
Oh, okay. Surveys certainly. I mean, we've seen some surveys that they really astonish you, and maybe for not for the reasons you expect. I'll give you a quick example. There was a survey in this country about what we call yobs. So thugs. Includes any teenager, really, who gets up to practically anything, all the way from murder, drug pushing, whatever.
Yeah.
And it turned out that 1 in 4 people was a yob.
Yeah.
And you kind of think, okay, 1 in 4, one of our sons and brothers is a yob, that's terrible. The newspaper said, welcome to Yob, UK.
Wow.
But it turns out that most of this stuff is just common assault. And the question they asked was, have you ever pushed, scratched, get ready for it, tripped, and deliciously, please include your family members in this. And, then you, you think, okay, I tripped my sister, I've got to make my confession, you should make yours, I was a yob in my youth, by this definition. And then you're thinking, this is really surprising, because you're telling me 3/4 of boys don't do any of these things?
Yeah, they pull frogs out of their pockets, and of course they throw them at their sisters, then they're all yelps. Right?
They were good boys, yeah.
Of course. I mean, let's face it. One word, it's amazing how one word could change the whole landscape. True?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. You've got to be careful about the way you phrase these words. The definitions can make all the difference.
Yeah, attorneys would have a ball over that. All right, now, where can we find the numbers game today? Favorite bookstores we're at, Michael?
Yeah, and you can get it online. All the major bookstores should have it. We don't have a website, I'm afraid, but you can Google us and you can find out all sorts of unpleasant things about us, probably. But
sure.
Yep, get it online, get it in your bookstores. It'll be there.
All right, very nice. Michael Blastland with us here today, a co-author of The Numbers Game. Head out today to your favorite bookstore. Be down at the corner. Watch out for those Yelps. And you can get it at Amazon.com. A great place, too. All right, head out today. The Numbers Game. Michael, thanks for being with us today on Traders Nation.
Pleasure. Thanks for talking to me.
You're more than welcome. All right, Michael Blastland, once again, folks, co-author of The Numbers Game. Head out today and get a copy of it.